Happy Wisdom Wednesday, everyone. So this week's book of the week comes from the famous executive creative director of Saatchi Saatchi, the big advertising company that have produced a lot of great campaigns in history, Paul Arden. And the book is called It's Not How Good You Are, It's How Good You Want to Be. So it's a great book because, as you can see from the inside, there's a lot of really nice, obviously created by an ad man, so a lot of really good visuals. Very short copy, and it's a short book. It gets straight to the point. And the thing I like about the older books written by the classic ad men and women from the 50s and 60s and 70s is that they are written with very powerful copy. Now, this book, although made for, you can say, creatives and advertising execs, is something that really can be applied for any profession. You know, some really interesting chapters that I enjoyed was a person who doesn't make mistakes is unlikely to make anything. Don't look for the next opportunity. The one you have in your hands is the one that you want to use. Don't be afraid of silly ideas, and don't give a speech, put on a show. So what does this all mean? So let's go with the first one. A person who doesn't make mistakes is unlikely to make anything. You know, I once heard that in order to have a good idea, you have to have a lot of bad ideas. In order to write a good book, you have to be willing to write maybe not a bunch of bad ones, but you have to write something bad. Nobody is born with this innate genius or talent, right? We all stumble from the time that we're little through adulthood, no matter what we do. When we start something new, we're going to stumble. You know, that's why the old saying goes that the fool is the precursor to the savior, right? You have to be willing to be a fool, to have bad ideas, to fail before you can be a savior, a genius, a champion, etc., etc. Now, in terms of looking for the next opportunity, this is a great one for a lot of young professionals. A lot of young professionals, and perhaps older ones too, are too focused on looking at the next promotion, the next opportunity. But the real opportunity is what you have in your hands. There's an old proverb that I heard from an old friend that said, what are you doing with what you've been given, right? So even if you have a job that you don't like, if you don't like the job, that's okay. Fall in love with the way you do the job. The opportunity that you have in your hands is really the thing that's going to set you up for the next opportunity. So instead of looking ahead on the horizon, pay attention to what you're doing now. And then lastly, don't give a speech, put on a show. So a lot of times when people present, and I think marketers do this a little bit more than, say, salespeople, when you present, we try and sort of romance the audience with our wit and our words. But the most important thing is that when people are coming to watch you give a presentation, it's a show, it's a drama, right? So you have to give that to them. Be able to paint a picture that's very vivid, that stays with them in their minds. Use your hands, use your facial expressions, walk up to the crowd, be engaged with them, because if you're too focused on the content, you're drawn away from the crowd. So that's the book of the week. Go out, get it. It's a really great book to read. Also, to sort of have at your desk and thumb through. And again, you're going to love the visuals in this book. So, as always, happy Wisdom Wednesday, and I'll see you next week.